Hello and welcome to the very first Friends Talk film movie spoiler review. I'm your host from the weekly show, Canon Akbalut, and today I'm going to be going to a full spoiler review of Ghostbusters. I've just returned from seeing this movie today, and so my first initial thoughts will be, wow, this is a terrible movie. I mean, goddamn. I'm going to go into all the things that have frustrated me about this movie, but let me kind of give you a little bit of context that I didn't go into this movie wanting to hate it. I didn't go into this movie with much expectation at all, to be honest. I never had a problem with the original casting announcement when there was going to be an all-female cast. I was like, you know what? This is an interesting take. If they're not going to go down the Ghostbusters 3 route, then yeah, why not? Let's freshen up a little bit. I guess I would have liked to see maybe more of a mixed cast, sort of like a 2 guys, 2 girls kind of combo. But they went with the, 4 women. And I was like, yeah, let's see what they can do with it. It was in a trusted director's hand. Paul Feig? Who knows? He'll know. I don't know. And he's had some really good successes. I love the movie Spy with Melissa McCarthy. Fantastic. He's had the hits with Bridesmaids, which is, renownedly well liked. And also The Heat, and he's always gone with these very woman focused centric type of movies. And he's said, in fact, that's, based a lot on his upbringing. So I was like, this is kind of in trusted hands with that kind of cast. And, some of these people have worked together before. So, it can't be all that bad. What could really go wrong? And then the first trailer landed, and I think we can all agree that was universally panned. I think it is the official worst rated trailer of all time. And to be honest, it justifies the film. So the new Ghostbusters are Kristen Wiig, who plays Erin Gilbert, Melissa McCarthy plays Abby Yates, we've got Kate McKinnon starring as Jill Holtzmann, and Leslie Jones playing Patty Tolan. And these are great actresses. They've had some really great stuff. Leslie Jones is a bit of a newcomer, but she's done some really good stand-up stuff, and these are likable people. They, Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy have worked together previously. They should have had really good chemistry on screen. There is no chemistry. This is a very bland movie. I think I laughed once in this movie. And it felt very scripted comedy. I think what I enjoyed about sort of Spy especially, you can tell there's some ad-libbing going on. There's some actual input from the actresses. There just didn't seem to be any of it. Now, whether this was because it was co-written by Paul Feig and Kate Dippold, who knows? But it was stagnant. It was stale. And as much as it's a normal female cast, this is a very sexist movie, and not in a good, it's a very bad light towards men and women. We've got these women who are supposed to be, these great actresses given opportunity in a huge franchise, and they're doing queef jokes and jokes about looking at men. So like the Kristen Wiig character, Erin, she's like all over the Chris Hemsworth character, Kevin, and she's like kind of almost drooling over him. And it's like, really? This is supposed to be the positive attitude that you're sending out for like these powerful women? And the other one, Jill Holtzmann, Kate McKinnon's character, she's just crazy. She's kooky and crazy for crazy's sake. There is no build up to this character. There's no explanation as to why she is or how she is the way she is. She's just different. And then you've got Leslie Jones's character, Patty, and that character is the definition of a stereotypical black woman character in movies. Is like, oh hell no, or damn, and the shouty, loud character that you don't want to see in movies anymore. It's not a positive reinforcement in any way, and it's really disheartening to see that is how they wanted to portray these female characters. And then when it comes to the male characters, every single male character in this movie is fucking stupid. I've heard a few reviews in the last 24 hours about the Chris Hemsworth and how apparently he is like the best thing in this movie. I don't see it. I don't get it. He looks like he's having potentially fun on set. It's something different for him. He's just able to let loose a little bit. But the character is so stupid. It's not believable in any sense. There's no way you would entertain this kind of person in your life. He comes in to have an interview for the reception job for the Ghostbusters team. And, he can't answer a phone properly. He's like this graphic designer guy who comes up with these ridiculous logos of like a house with a hot dog above it, and he's like, oh well, the ghost is holding the hot dog. It's not funny stuff. He's sitting there wearing these glasses, and he goes to scratch his eye and he puts his finger through the glasses, and they're like, well, what's up with that? And he's like, oh yeah, I just took the lenses out, just a lot of effort. I don't get it. I don't know why that's funny. And then he goes and he's walking around the room while they're kind of discussing, oh, but he's hot, give him a chance. And there's a big fish tank there and like a phone as a feature in there. And he goes to try and grab the phone a couple of times. And this joke is repeated later on when like answer the phone. He's like, I can't, it's in the fish tank. And it's like, really? That's funny? No. And then he hits this gong and he's like, oh, that's really loud. Oh my God, that is not humor. That is stupidity beyond stupidity. That totally takes you out of the movie, and I absolutely hated it. Then you have this reoccurring character who delivers Abby's character Abby Chinese food, and she keeps not getting the right amount of wontons or contents to her soup, and the character again is a stupid male character, and a little bit creepy because he's like feeling up the Erin character on his way out of the room, and it's so bizarre. There is a cameo which I wasn't expecting of Andy Garcia, who plays the mayor in this movie, and again, he's a stupid guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't, he's not in control of his situation, and the whole tone of the movie, it doesn't know what it wants to be. I don't know if the studio knows what it's supposed to be. In the original trailer, it was like 30 years ago, these guys did this, and now this new team, and then it totally contradicts itself in that they have cameos with all the original cast. I didn't know this going in, but you have Bill Murray in there, you have Dan Aykroyd, you have Sigourney Weaver, and they're playing these stupid characters that is a waste, and it's an insult to the original. Now, I like the original Ghostbusters, but I'm not a fanboy. I wasn't one of these guys saying, oh my God, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be remaking this film. I'm like, yeah, let's do it, go ahead, why not? But it's kind of tragic to see, and it's like, and the only reason those guys are in there is because Sony strong-armed these actors into getting into this franchise again. Now, they couldn't convince them to do a third one, but the leaked emails from Sony show that they were willing to take legal action against Bill Murray to ensure that he participated in this movie for contract obligations. That speaks volumes. And the fact that him and Dan Aykroyd have come out and given positive reviews for this movie as well on top of that, there is no class. Even Bill Murray dissed himself from Garfield in another movie, Zombieland. And it was just a case of, they've been told to, yes, this is a great franchise. Yes, this is the way to move forward. It really, really isn't. And is really difficult to watch in periods. Let me touch on to the CG. Now, the original was practical effects, and it was because it had to be at the time. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was a big guy in a suit, walking around a really detailed model city. Slimer was a puppet, and of course that isn't going to happen nowadays. Everything is generated, and I totally get that. But these ghosts are straight out of Scooby-Doo. I mean, the Scooby-Doo live action movie and Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed, they are ridiculous. They're colored. The ghosts aren't lead. They're not texturous. There's no substance to them. They're not scary. They're not nothing. They're just around. They don't intimidate people. They don't go chasing after people. They don't scare people. It's like, what is the point of these ghosts? I don't understand. Then you have the weapons. So traditional plasma guns, no problem. But the main makeup of the weapons is to it's a sort of like gravitational pull to get the monsters into the captivity of the cages and the units to store them in. And then later in the film, they just start killing ghosts off. And it's just like, why did that happen? And it's just literally like a shootout, like a Western, bang, 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 just taking these ghosts out left, right, and center. And sort of like this action movie kind of sequences. And it's just like, no, this doesn't make sense. This isn't why you were here. The characters of Erin and Abby were like, oh my God, ghosts, they're beautiful. And we want to study them, explore them. And then they just start going around and killing them all. Now, it didn't make any sense. There is a scene in the movie where the ghosts are big, sort of like Thanksgiving Day parade balloons. And why we have ghosts of those, I don't know. How are you having ghosts of material things like that? It doesn't make any sense. The only way I can see it is because they reference the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man as one of these giant balloons. Now, the joke is that they fall on top of the girls waiting there, except the Erin character. And they're crushed down, face down onto the concrete floor of the street. And then you have this ridiculous shot of the upward shot to see all the girls' faces squished by the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And again, it's a shot that takes you completely out of the movie. How am I seeing up through the concreted street to these characters? It's so I can get a visual gag of their faces being squashed together. I was like, oh my God. And then, boom, it explodes. And you're like, okay. And then the Erin character, Kristen Wiig, has popped this balloon with a penknife the Jillian Holtzmann character had given her earlier as a, all girls should carry, some self-defense weapon. You've just destroyed a ghost with a Swiss Army pocket knife? Let's have some consistency here, people. It does not make sense. It is the Wookiee defense of Star Wars. An 8-foot Wookiee living indoor does not make sense. A Swiss Army penknife popping a ghost does not make sense. But, that's some of the least of the problems that this film has had. I've talked about the fact that the Patio is a stereotype character. Jill is crazy for the sake of being crazy. Erin and Abby do have a bit of a backstory, and you kind of understand the relationship a little bit about them, which is fine. But the other character, Kevin, why is he stupid? Was he dropped as a child? You're never told. He's just stupid for being stupid, and it is not funny. And the other character that gets no development whatsoever is the main villain. There is a guy going around setting off devices around New York City to generate this power surge, open a portal to allow all these ghosts to come in that you see at the end of the trailer. But they don't tell you who he is. They don't explain to you why he's doing it. The first shot you see of him is in the subway station, setting a device which releases a ghost, which brings in the Patty character. And he goes on these like little third-person conversations with himself about correcting things and making, the portal is going to be able to be breached. But you don't understand why. You don't know why he's doing it, what the benefit is for. There is no context given to this whatsoever. The general plot of the movie is it's kind of a step-by-step of the first. They rehash of the first, where they try and follow the same kind of plot points. So at the beginning... Now, you know what? To its credit, and I have to say this because it is only fair and I have to give an impartial review. The first 10 minutes of the film are a solid 10 minutes. They brought me into the movie, and I think that's why I got so disappointed as the movie went on, because it's like, that's what it could have been. There is a mansion, which is like a haunted mansion. You got this guy taking this group of people around, explaining, the history of the house, the fact that this person owned it. Their daughter went on this killing spree, and they end up locking her in a dungeon, and she could have been still in there, and they used to hear screams coming from the room by the next owner. Really great stuff. Really built it in, and it felt like a Ghostbusters movie. Right up into the shot where it's sort of like the ghost is attacking him. At this point, you don't see the ghost, so it's kind of fine. You're not taken out of the movie, and the pan into him screaming, and it hits the title, and it's the original music at that point, not the rehash shit that they do later on. And you're like, yeah, okay, this has got some promise. And then the next 5 minutes where you kind of introduce the Kristen Wiig character, okay, I can buy into that. That's okay. and then it's just all downhill. And I think the point where I got lost, and I think my friend Sasha, I saw it with today as well, is the scene where they go into this like rock concert, and you've seen it in the movie. You've seen the big green, stupid looking dragon type demon, and it's so absurdly taken out of the context of the movie. You just, everything that's kind of built up into it, you're just like, no, that's just fake. Yes, okay, it's fake. It's a ghost in a Ghostbuster movie, but it's just poorly executed. It originally the demon takes over a mannequin model, and the mannequin chase after him for a bit. It's like, this sucks. This is painful. This is really, really bad. It's not funny. And, you know, it's stupid jokes you've seen in the trailer. If you laughed at any bits in the trailer, congratulations. That's all you're going to laugh at in this movie. I personally maybe laugh once or twice in the trailer. I think I laughed once in this movie, or a scene where the girls meet originally in a lab, and they're like, okay, come on, let's go. And she's like, oh, you want me to come with you? And she's like, no, I need to lock up because of all the equipment in here. I kind of chuckled at that, the way it was delivered. But after that, there was really nothing. And I'm struggling to come up with some other positives other than that first opening 10 minutes. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not blame the cast for this movie. I don't blame the four women. I think they were high with really good intentions, and I felt they really wanted to make a good movie. But I think the studio got heavily involved. They were looking at this purely as a franchise. I don't think they cared specifically too much of what they were doing on this movie. There's even rumors that Paul Feig was crying on set, or has some real difficulties on set. There's some really interesting videos out there which you can search, and even oh my god, even up to the point where the credits started happening. Now there's a scene in the movie where the Kevin character gets possessed by the demon, and you see this in the trailer after it's knocked out Melissa McCarthy. And again, a scene which might have been funny in the film if I hadn't seen it in the trailer. And he is lining up, he's outside this building, and he's waiting for the Ghostbusters to come and get him. And all the police are there, sort of like Homeland Security and the army and stuff are there to support, and they're there to try and help. Now, what he does, however he does it, he manages to possess all of them in terms of he can make them do what he wants to do. So he's standing on top of this building, and he gets everyone to strike in a pose sort of like this. And you're like, okay, and they stay like that until the end of the movie, and you're like, I don't get it. And then in the credits of the movie, you see in the back the demon controlling all the people, all the soldiers, the police, and the Homeland Security guys into a dance routine. Now, this is something that was actually written into the script, and they've obviously cut it out of the movie, but then they put it into the credits. This movie is a mess. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know who it's aimed at. If it's aimed at women, they're really not very likable characters. They're pretty, they're smart in one moment and then just stupid in another. All the male characters are dumbed down to idiots. Guys aren't, going to be feeling that when they go in there. It's just like, okay, it's women making queef jokes. What else am I supposed to be laughing at? In the other movies, like Spy, you had the strong Jason Statham character. In Bridesmaids, you had the sort of love interest was, smart and funny. This, they just don't bring anything to the table. And, are they trying to get merchandise out of this? I can't see kids picking up toys for these characters. They're just weird. And then, it keeps coming back. I'm getting these flashbacks of like the things that really pissed me off about this movie. Then the same as the original, the demon's like, what form would you like me to take to challenge you? And they decided to go for the Ghostbusters logo. So Jill, the crazy one's like, and Patty are like, oh, maybe the logo, or, cute and friendly ghost. And the demon turns into the 2D animated version of the ghost from the animated show. I don't know if you remember the animated show, that the opening credits, the ghost kind of steps out of the circle with the cross, the line through it, and is like walking down the street. It's that ghost. And it's a 2D animated ghost in the middle of this movie. And then it grows into a version of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So it grows into the 50-story high monster as the ghost logo. What the fuck? I don't. Who thought this was a clever or funny or good idea? The movie thinks it's paying homage to Ghostbusters, but it's really not. It's taking the piss. When the first Ghostbusters came out, it's a funny movie, but they're playing the characters straight. They are, Bill Murray's character is, more the comic relief, but all the guys, what they're doing, they believe in what they're doing, and, they're here to help people. But this movie, everyone's in on the joke. Everyone's aware this is a Ghostbusters reboot. They're aware of what was before them, and it makes the movie so much worse. If they were going to reboot, just cut your ties. But no, they have every single original person back doing a cameo, and it's obviously Harold Ramis, but they have a cameo of him, which was kind of a nice touch at the beginning, which I liked, which was a statue of him in the university of a head, and it was like, that was a nice touch. But everything out about this movie blows. It's just why attach you attach the Ghostbusters logo onto it for a franchise, then do it right. You could have just done this as a paranormal movie with women chasing after ghosts and not call it Ghostbusters. That would have been fine. But when you're trying to build a franchise and you don't know what you're doing with it, you don't know what your movie is supposed to be, whether it's supposed to be a link to the original like the trailer was, but then have everyone cameo as somebody else in the reboot, it does not make sense. There's probably more that I could talk about. There's movie cliches galore, where the women are in the sort of like the lab when they're working on some stuff, and they have the TV on in the background. You can see a couple of pictures on the side, and then suddenly the sound's up. There's a relevant commercial coming on TV which they need to watch, which progresses the story. Who turned the TV up? Why did it suddenly get loud? No, it's just a plot point mover. And then as soon as that trailer's finished, the TV shuts off. It's like, pay attention to detail, people. Come on, let's have some continuity. Let's not keep contradicting yourself in this movie. And they have loads of these. The logo is generated by this young youth in the underground station where he graffitis a logo. Again, you would have seen this part in the trailer. He has one spray can in his hand, yet he's able to have two distinctly different colors on the logo. Does not make sense. This movie is a terrible, terrible movie. And the only reason that I would give it probably half a star out of 5 is for that opening 5-10 minutes. I thought that was really solid, and if they carried that tone of the movie through, it could have been something really quite good, or at least average enough that you could then build on. They have driven this into the ground. There is a post-credit scene where it will build up to the next movie, which is going to be the sort of characters from the original movie, which is Sigourney Weaver, Rick Moranis kind of characters, and those is going to lead to the sort of like the key and the gatekeeper and stuff like that. And you're just thinking, why? I feel sorry for the original actors having to come back and do cameos in this movie, but there's not much else I can say on it. I'm just so frustrated with this movie. I didn't go into it wanting to hate it. I wanted to just go and enjoy myself and just hope, that all the original backlash that came from those original trailers and stuff weren't justified. And the fact that all these reviews are now being posted online by like the New York Times and reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, they are praising this movie. They are praising it against the original backlash and not for the context of the movie that it is. They are saying, yes, girl power. Yes, there's no problem with 4 women characters being in this movie. I absolutely agree. Women are just as funny as men, some more than others. But it doesn't excuse for a bad movie. It doesn't excuse for bad script writing, for no character development, for no original story ideas. It doesn't account for that, and you can't give a movie a decent rating or a good review on that fact. You have to take it for what it is. Guys went online and were bitching about that it was an all-female cast. They were bitching about the music, which I think is justified. And they have finding so many, you can't replace the original. Why are you doing it? It happened, but don't use your platform on media and social media and papers and websites where people look for these like official reviews to use as a platform to justify this movie and the studio. If I was a conspiracy theorist, I'd be like, paid off to give these reviews because they do not justify the movie. They do not make sense. I think currently the movie is reviewed at like 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. It doesn't make sense. This is not a good movie. It's not an average movie. It is a poor fucking movie. And it's this is gonna wind me up for a long time. I want to sit down and watch the original now to get the taste out of my mouth, but I think all it's gonna do is reinforce some of the stuff I've seen today. Like, why do they do that? Why did they do this? You know, why did they do that? So I'm gonna have to watch something else completely different tonight. Try take my mind off it. But that's my spoiler review of the Ghostbusters. I have gone on quite a bit tonight, but I think there's just so much bad stuff in this movie that I just needed to say it out loud. Yeah, so this will hopefully be a regular segment going forward, and I will be trying to give my spoiler reviews as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, please make sure you subscribe to the Friends Talk Film channel on the link below. And thanks very much for your time, and I'll see you next time.